Pengzi. But the woman persisted in wanting Pengzi to stay. Seeing that Pengzi didn't pay attention to him. But the woman said, if you dare to go home, believe it or not, I'm gonna call your wife right now. I know your wife's phone number is there. I know your wife's phone number is there. He picked up the ballpoint pen on the table and put it in his pocket. If she knew about us. Then the fat man ignored the woman's words. As soon as I went out, I called a taxi and left. In the car, the fat man called his wife to explain today's work process. After making the call, he found that his phone was out of battery, and asked the driver to help charge the phone. The driver also enthusiastically helped him charge his mobile phone. Just when the two of them were chatting in the car, a motorcycle hurriedly came behind me. The driver was so angry that he stepped on the accelerator and chased after him, shouting curses. This driver has a bit of a temper and can't be offended. The fat man in the back seat was so frightened that he didn't dare to say a word. The sharp-eyed fat man saw that there were patterns on the driver's neck. As soon as the fat man lowered his head, he saw his own feet. There is a wallet that may have been left behind by another customer. The fat man took advantage of the driver to look at the motorcycle just now. He quietly opened his wallet. A bloody driver's license was found inside. The person on the driver's license and the driver in front of you. The other party urged the driver when the goods would be delivered today. The driver quickly responded and would send it to another location immediately. Here, could it be that the goods they are talking about are themselves? Fatty wants to find a chance to get off the car. The driver drove the car into a secret lane. Wait until the driver arrives at the location they agreed on. The driver couldn't hold it in any longer and got out of the car to put some water in the car. Asked the fat man to wait for him in the car, while the driver was draining the water. I also called the consignee, by the way. The fat man quietly hid in the grass and listened to the driver's conversation. The product this time is still a big one. I hope I can get a good price this time. The fat man broke into a cold sweat just when he was about to get back to the car. The fat man suddenly fell to the ground with his legs weak and made a sound. It also alarmed the driver who finished the phone call. The fat man was so scared that he couldn't hold back a word. Or did the driver say that you are also here to deliver water? The nervous fat man nodded quickly. Fortunately, the driver will take advantage of it. So the two of them got back in the car. The fat man asked the driver to give him the phone. But I didn't expect Fatty's phone call. The fat man's eyes are no longer timid and scared, but full of anger and ferocity. He took out a ballpoint pen from his pocket. It was inserted directly into the driver's neck. If either you die or I die today. Soon the driver lost his pulse. The fat man wanted to drive away. Unexpectedly, the car broke down. The buyer the driver contacted before has arrived. The fat man opened the car door and said, "It's quite fresh and not long after Ganga. This shouldn't be our product, right?" Then let the fat man open the trunk. When they opened the trunk and saw the dead end inside, they said, "This is what we want." What happened to that fat man just now? I didn't realize it until the fat man came over from the cab. It turns out that the cargo the driver mentioned was actually the first road. Now the fat man is a little confused. At this time, the two buyers looked at the fat man strangely. The buyer asked the fat man to help load the dead end into the car. Another buyer strangled the fat man's neck from behind, easily broke free from the restraints. Unexpectedly, the fat man was holding a 2-meter-long stick in his hand. Then he kept hunting for knives on the two of them. Fill the car with gasoline and destroy it alive. Then he swaggered home.